In a world filled with noise, distractions, and uncertainty, few voices have cut through as clearly as Jordan Peterson, a clinical psychologist and professor who became a global thought leader. Peterson captured attention by speaking to something deeper than trending topics or temporary hacks. He speaks to personal responsibility, to meaning, to order, to the things that hold us up when the world feels like it's falling apart. No shortcuts, no victimhood. Just you, your choices, and your willingness to confront the chaos around you and within you. And that starts with discipline. And whether you agree with all his views or not, there is no denying the power of his message around three timeless principles: discipline, focus, inner strength. These are not just character traits. They are survival skills. They are the foundation for any life worth building. What makes Peterson's blueprint unique is how deeply it's rooted in personal accountability. Peterson often says, "Clean your room." You cannot live a meaningful life if you are constantly pulled in 1,000 directions. Aim at it. Move toward it. Even if the aim is off, the act of aiming brings order to your chaos. It gives your actions context. It is about standing firm in the face of it. It is the ability to endure what is difficult without becoming bitter, to suffer without surrendering your values. Peterson reminds us that life is suffering. But suffering does not have to destroy you. In fact, it can shape you. Strength comes from confrontation, from facing what terrifies you, from stepping into responsibility when it would be easier to run. It forces your mind to align with your mission. A person with aim has direction. A person with direction becomes resilient, and resilience brings us to inner strength. The mind cannot grow when it is overstimulated. You need silence. You need space. You need direction. And to achieve that, you need the courage to say no. To distractions, to shallow relationships, to noise. Focus is what allows depth to happen. And depth is where transformation begins. At first glance, that might sound too simple or even dismissive, but look deeper. That phrase is a metaphor for taking control of your immediate environment. But motivation is fleeting. Discipline is a decision. And the more you live by principle, the less you are ruled by impulse. Doing what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. Heroism, in his view, is about bearing the weight of your life with courage and honesty. It is about voluntarily accepting the burden of being, knowing the cost, carrying it anyway. That is inner strength. It is not flashy. It is not loud. It is often invisible. But over time, it builds something unshakable. Peterson warns against the pursuit of happiness as a goal. They are not habits you add to your to-do list. They are virtues you cultivate through intention. They come from asking yourself the hard questions. What am I avoiding? What responsibility am I neglecting? What fear am I letting run my life? Because happiness is a byproduct. It is not sustainable. What is sustainable is meaning. A life lived in pursuit of something greater than comfort, something bigger than self-interest. Meaning is what gets you out of bed when nothing else makes sense. Meaning is what makes pain worth enduring. It means before you criticize the world, make sure your own house is in order. It means start with what you can control. The daily chaos you tolerate in your life is a mirror of what you allow in your mind. Discipline begins when you stop outsourcing your problems and start handling the basics with precision and pride. This isn't about perfection. It's about order. Because order gives you clarity, and clarity gives you the strength to move forward. Most people wait for motivation. Discipline means showing up when it's hard, keeping promises to yourself. From there comes focus. In a digital world designed to steal your attention, the ability to focus is a superpower. Peterson challenges the idea that multitasking leads to progress. Instead, he emphasizes the importance of narrowing your aim. Finding a target, pursuing it with intent. Not scattered, not diluted, but precise. Focus is not just about productivity. It's about purpose. Peterson often uses the idea of aim. Pick a goal. Inner strength is not about never feeling pain. Peterson speaks often about the hero archetype, the idea that within each of us is the potential to be heroic, but not in the Hollywood sense. And where does that strength come from? It comes from meaning. Discipline, focus, and inner strength are all rooted in the pursuit of meaning. Peterson does not hand out easy answers. He asks you to wrestle with the questions, because the act of wrestling is what makes you stronger. In that struggle, you grow. You become more capable, more aware, more grounded. The blueprint he offers is not quick. It is not easy, but it is real, and that is why it resonates. More disciplined, because deep down, we all know the truth. No app, no hack. And instead of shrinking from that test, leaning into it. Knowing that pain is not the enemy. Avoidance is. Because avoidance keeps you weak. Confrontation makes you stronger. No shortcut can replace the hard work of self-mastery. If you want a better life, you must build a better self. It is for those who are ready to grow up, to take ownership, to stop blaming and start building. It is for those who believe that life is worth a fight, that meaning is worth the struggle, that becoming strong is worth the pain. So what does that look like in practice? Where have you lost focus? Where are you avoiding responsibility that could lead to growth? To confront one piece of the chaos, to speak one word of truth, to move one step toward order. And life begins to respond to the person you are becoming. It means starting small. Cleaning your room is not just a task, it is a declaration. The kind of dangerous that comes from knowing who you are, knowing what you stand for, and having the ability to act with force when required. That kind of strength brings peace, not weakness, because you are not fragile, you are forged. A signal to yourself that you are taking ownership, that you are no longer waiting to be rescued, that you are becoming someone who takes responsibility for the chaos in their corner of the world. And the moment you begin lying to yourself, you begin unraveling the foundation of your potential. It means setting goals that matter, not to impress others, but to stretch your capacity, to become more focused, more resilient. It means embracing the struggle, knowing that life will test you. Because when everything else fades, what remains is who you are. And who you are is built in the daily choices you make, the responsibilities you carry, the truth you speak, the aim you pursue. It means speaking the truth, even when it is hard, especially when it is hard. Because integrity is the foundation of strength. Peterson's blueprint asks you to become dangerous, not in a reckless sense, but in a disciplined, controlled sense. Discipline gives you order. Focus gives you direction. Inner strength gives you endurance. Together, they create a life rooted in responsibility, not reaction, in meaning, not momentary pleasure, in growth, not avoidance. This is the work. It is not glamorous, it is not viral, but it is essential. Jordan Peterson's message is not for the faint of heart. So ask yourself today, where in your life do you need more discipline? Start there. Not with a grand plan, but with a single decision to step forward. Because once you do, momentum builds, strength follows. You do not need to be perfect. You only need to be committed to a path of meaning, a path of principle, a path of progress. That is the Jordan Peterson blueprint. And it can change everything.